She accused Musk of corruption on live TV. Days later, her job, reputation, and future were hanging by a thread. It started with a segment that was supposed to be like any other. Sharp commentary, bold takes, and a few viral sound bites. But this time, she went too far. Sophia Delacour, a primetime liberal TV host known for her relentless critiques of billionaires, locked eyes with the camera, her expression sharp with conviction. The topic of the night: Elon Musk. His influence, his companies, and, according to her, his alleged unethical dealings behind closed doors. She leaned in, voice dripping with certainty. It's time people wake up and see the truth. There are serious allegations surrounding Musk, things that, if exposed, could change the way we view him forever. A dramatic pause. The control room knew how to time these moments perfectly. Then, the words that would send shockwaves through social media. I have it on good authority that Musk has been suppressing damaging information about his past dealings. Illegal financial, cover-ups, silencing whistleblowers. And let's not even get started on the personal scandals that insiders have been hinting at for years, and yet, people still worship him. She wasn't quoting an official source. There were no documents, no verified reports, just a vague allusion to unnamed insiders and good authority. But in the world of click-driven journalism, that was enough to plant the seed. The segment aired live, and within minutes, Koicher Elon Exposed started trending. Twitter, or rather X, exploded with speculation, debates, and conspiracy theories. Some defended Musk, brushing off Delacour's claims as just another desperate attempt to tear him down. Others latched onto her words like gospel, convinced that she had just cracked open a truth no one else was willing to say out loud. But one thing was clear: Elon Musk had been watching. Within an hour, his response came in the form of a single post. This woman just committed career suicide. See you in court. No fluff, no long-winded rebuttal. Just a promise. And Musk wasn't the type to make empty threats. Sophia had played this game before, stirring the pot, pushing narratives that got people talking. It was how she stayed relevant in an era where controversy equaled ratings. But this time there was something different in the air. Her producers scrambled. Lawyers started making phone calls. Behind the scenes, executives debated whether to walk back her statements or double down. And Sophia? She sat in her dressing room, refreshing her feed, watching as Musk's words spread like wildfire. The lawsuit wasn't just a possibility. It was inevitable. But the real question wasn't if Musk would follow through. It was how far he was willing to go. Sophia Delacour had built her career on controversy, but this wasn't the kind of attention she had planned for. The moment Musk's post hit the internet, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Producers, network executives, legal advisors, even a few so-called insiders who suddenly wanted nothing to do with her. She sat in her dressing room, scrolling through the avalanche of reactions. Some fans stood by her, praising her courage. Others tore her apart, calling her a liar, a fraud, a desperate attention seeker who had finally picked a fight she couldn't win. And then there were the reporters. Emails flooded in, all asking the same thing. Do you have proof? That was the problem. She didn't. We need to get ahead of this, her producer Max said, barging into the room. His usual calm demeanor was gone. Musk's legal team is already drafting the paperwork. We're looking at a defamation suit. Sophia, this is serious. She crossed her arms. We've called out billionaires before. Why is this any different? Max pinched the bridge of his nose. Because you didn't just criticize him, you accused him of crimes without citing a single source. He exhaled sharply. He's going to bury us. If we don't get a strategy in place now. For the first time that night, Sophia felt something creeping in: uncertainty. The show had always played on the edge of controversy, but this was free falling off a cliff. Her legal team was already in damage control mode. A carefully worded statement was drafted within the hour. On last night's program, I shared concerns about Elon Musk and his business practices based on discussions with multiple sources. I stand by my commitment to journalistic integrity and the pursuit of truth. However, if any statements were misinterpreted or taken out of context, I am open to a dialogue on the matter. Weak. It was weak, and she knew it. But she also knew that retracting outright would be admitting defeat. And Musk smelled weakness like a shark smells blood. The statement went live, but it did nothing to stop the storm. If anything, it made things worse. Musk replied within minutes. No misinterpretation, no context needed. You lied. See you in court. The comments were ruthless. Oof, she's done. Musk's about to take her whole network down. Imagine thinking you could take on the guy who owns the platform you're tweeting from. Sophia's stomach twisted, but she held her ground. She had faced public scrutiny before. She could weather this. But the next morning, things escalated. A leaked email surfaced, one from the network's legal department discussing potential termination if the lawsuit moved forward. Suddenly, it wasn't just her reputation at stake. It was her entire career. And Musk wasn't even done yet. By the next morning, Sophia Delacour wasn't just a trending topic, she was the story. Every major news outlet had picked up the lawsuit threat, spinning their own angles. Some framed it as a battle between free speech and billionaire power. Others called it a reckless career implosion. But one thing was clear: the public was glued to the unfolding drama. The morning talk shows were merciless. If you're going to accuse one of the most powerful men in the world of criminal activity, you better come with receipts, one analyst said on a panel discussion. Elon Musk has never been afraid of legal battles. If Delacour really has proof, why not show it? Another chimed in. It didn't help that her own network was avoiding any direct defense. They weren't throwing her under the bus, yet. But they weren't exactly backing her either. Executives were in closed-door meetings trying to assess whether keeping her on the air was worth the risk. Meanwhile, social media was tearing itself apart. On one side, die-hard Musk supporters were celebrating what they saw as the downfall of yet another corporate media shill. On the other, Delacour's loyal audience was calling the lawsuit a direct attack on journalism itself. But the real blow came when Musk's legal team made their first official move, a demand for a full retraction and public apology. No vague PR statement, no carefully worded half measure. They wanted her to go on air, admit she had fabricated the allegations, and issue an apology directly to Musk. Failure to comply. A lawsuit so massive it wouldn't just ruin her, it would bring her entire network to its knees. Her lawyer, Aaron Fisk, laid it out for her in brutal terms. Sophia, this is not a fight you can win in court. Defamation cases are hard, but Musk has resources beyond anything you've dealt with. If this goes to trial, you will lose. Sophia bristled. So you're telling me to back down? Just let him silence me? Fisk sighed. I'm telling you to be smart. The network is already distancing itself. If they fire you, you won't just lose this job, you'll be radioactive. No one will hire you again. The words hit hard. For the first time, real fear settled in. This wasn't just about an online spat anymore. And then, someone leaked Musk's official lawsuit draft to the press. The details were brutal: $100 million in damages, citing reckless disregard for the truth and malicious intent to defame. The suit named both Sophia and the network, making it clear. This wasn't just about setting the record straight. This was about sending a message. Suddenly, the situation wasn't just bad, it was catastrophic. But Sophia wasn't ready to surrender. Not yet. Sophia had been in tight spots before, but nothing like this. She sat in her office, staring at the lawsuit draft plastered across every news site. The figure alone, $100 million, was enough to make her head spin. this wasn't just about clearing Musk's name. This was an all-out offensive, a move designed to crush her. And the worst part? It was working. Her network executives had gone silent, dodging her calls. Sponsors were pulling ads from her show. Even longtime allies in the industry weren't returning messages. Nobody wanted to be in the blast radius. Then, Musk took it a step further. He didn't just let the lawsuit speak for itself. He made it personal. In a post on X, he wrote, "Media figures think they can lie with zero consequences. Not this time. She either proves her claims or faces the consequences." Simple. The message racked up millions of views in minutes. His supporters flooded the replies, demanding her resignation. Musk's legal team then filed an emergency motion to fast-track the case, pushing for an immediate court hearing. Sophia's lawyer, Aaron Fisk, wasn't sugarcoating the situation anymore. "They're coming at you from every angle," he told her, pacing in her office. "This isn't just Musk. His legal team, his PR machine, even his fans, it's an ecosystem designed to destroy you. We need a plan." "And what do you suggest?" she asked, rubbing her temples. "We fight," Fisk laid it out. Their best move wasn't to deny outright, but to shift the narrative. They needed to frame this as a billionaire trying to silence a journalist. Public sympathy was the only way to survive. That same night, Sophia went back on air. Her usual confidence was gone, replaced with a measured, deliberate tone. "There is a larger issue at play here," she said, looking directly at the camera. "When a powerful figure can threaten a journalist with financial ruin for asking tough questions, we should all be concerned. This isn't about me. This is about the freedom to challenge those in power without fear of retaliation." It was a calculated move, one that got people talking. But then, Musk dropped another bombshell. His legal team released internal emails from Sophia's network. Emails suggesting they had already discussed firing her before the lawsuit even landed. The implication: even her own company didn't trust her reporting. The media went into a frenzy. Was Sophia a victim of corporate cowardice? Or had she really gone too far? And Musk? He wasn't slowing down. Sophia felt like she was drowning. Every move she made, every attempt to regain control of the narrative, was met with another blow from Musk's camp. The leaked emails had done real damage, not just to her credibility, but to her support system. The network wasn't even pretending to stand by her anymore. That afternoon, her boss, Mark Ellison, finally called. "We need to talk," he said, voice tight. That was all she needed to hear. 30 minutes later, she was in a dimly lit conference room sitting across from a table of executives who looked like they had already made up their minds. "We've weighed our options," Ellison started, clasping his hands together. "And given the lawsuit, the backlash, and the position this puts the network in, we believe the best course of action is for you to step down." Sophia's stomach clenched. "Step down? We'll frame it as a mutual decision," another executive chimed in. "You'll put out a statement saying you want to focus on independent journalism. We'll give you a generous severance package, and this will all go away before it gets worse." "Worse? How could it possibly get worse? And if I refuse?" she asked, already knowing the answer. Ellison didn't blink. "Then we terminate you for violating our editorial standards, and you'll be fighting Musk's lawsuit alone." Sophia let the words sink in. If she walked away quietly, she might salvage some dignity, but if she fought, she risked losing everything. And yet, something about backing down made her skin crawl. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. A text. "Unknown number. Check your email. I have something you need to see." She hesitated for half a second before opening her laptop. And then, her breath hitched. A leaked document, not from her network, not from Musk's camp. Something new. It was an internal memo from Tesla's legal department, dated months ago. Subject: Media Containment. Strategy. The document outlined preemptive legal threats against multiple journalists who had been investigating Musk's businesses. And there, right in the middle of the page, was her name. They had planned this before she ever said a word. Sophia's pulse pounded in her ears. This wasn't just about her segment. This was a coordinated effort to intimidate the press. She looked up at Ellison and the other executives, their faces blank with corporate indifference. "I'm not stepping down," she said, closing her laptop. Ellison sighed. "Sophia, don't be stupid." "No, you don't be stupid," she cut in. "Because now, I have leverage. If Musk wanted a war, he was about to get one. But she wasn't playing defense anymore." Sophia didn't sleep that night. The leaked Tesla memo changed everything. Proof that Musk's legal attack wasn't just about her. He'd been preparing to silence multiple journalists long before her segment aired. By morning, her legal team had a decision to make. Go public or use it as a bargaining chip. "We release this memo now. We flip the script," Aaron Fisk told her, pacing her apartment, "instead of you being on the defensive Musk go public, or use it as a bargaining chip. If we release this memo now, we flip the script," Aaron Fisk told her, pacing her apartment. "Instead of you being on the defensive, Musk looks like the aggressor. But that also means we go to war with the most powerful man in tech." Sophia exhaled slowly. This wasn't just about salvaging her career anymore. It was about something bigger. "We leak it," she said. 3 hours later, an independent journalist published the Tesla memo. Within minutes, it spread like wildfire. Confidential document shows Musk's legal team targeting journalists, including Sophia Delacroix. The backlash was immediate. News anchors dissected every word of the memo. Legal analysts debated whether it proved abuse of power, and social media? It turned into a battlefield. Some still defended Musk, arguing that he was simply protecting his reputation. But others, including some of his former allies, started questioning just how far he was willing to go to control the press. And then, the lawsuit disappeared. Musk's legal team quietly withdrew their complaint, issuing a brief statement about reassessing priorities. No apology, no admission of wrongdoing, just a silent retreat. But the damage was done. Sophia kept her job, at least for now. The network, realizing they had nearly sacrificed one of their own over a lawsuit that evaporated overnight, backtracked on their decision to fire her. The real victory, though, wasn't personal. It was the conversation that followed. People started asking harder questions about how billionaires influence the media, about how much control one man with limitless resources could have over what stories got told and which ones got buried. Sophia had nearly lost everything, but by standing her ground, she had forced a reckoning. And the next time someone like Musk tried to use the weight of their fortune to silence a journalist, the world would be watching. Because power doesn't just exist in money or influence. It exists in the truth. And sometimes the only way to fight back against those who seem untouchable is to refuse to be afraid. Case like the aggressor, but that also means we go to war with the most powerful man in tech. Sophia exhaled slowly. This wasn't just about salvaging her own career anymore. It was about something bigger. "We leak it," she said 3 hours later. An independent journalist published the Tesla memo within minutes. It spread like wildfire. Confidential document shows Musk's legal team targeting journalists, including Sophia Delacroix. The backlash was immediate news. Anchors dissected every word of the memo legal. Analysts debated whether it proved abuse of power, and social media. It turned into a battlefield. Some still defended Musk, arguing that he was simply protecting his reputation. But others, including some of his former allies, started questioning just how far he was willing to go to control the press, and then the lawsuit disappeared. Musk's legal team quietly withdrew their complaint, issuing a brief statement about reassessing priorities. No apology, no admission of wrongdoing. Just a silent retreat, but the damage was done. Sophia kept her job at least for now. The network, realizing they had nearly sacrificed one of their own over a lawsuit that evaporated overnight, backtracked on their decision to fire her. The real victory, though, wasn't personal. It was the conversation that followed. People started asking harder questions about how billionaires influence the media, how much control one man with limitless resources could have over what stories got told, and which ones got buried. Sophia had nearly lost everything, but by standing her ground, she had forced a reckoning, and the next time someone like Musk tried to use the weight of their fortune to silence a journalist, the world would be watching. Power doesn't just exist in money or influence. It exists in the truth, and sometimes the only way to fight back against those who seem untouchable is to refuse to be afraid.